It's like that's a miraculous escape by everybody else.
Oh, there's one off there. I think it's one of the Wins Commodores. Yeah,
no, it's
Stephen Richards. Well,
oh boy,
they had a big meeting with Clark, of course, Tim Schenken yesterday. Talk about driving standards. Looks like they got through there relatively cleanly.
Cameron McLean's dropped back about 3-4 places there, so he must have had a little coming together maybe.
Already a challenge on Tony Longhurst as they come off the bridge, and there the challenge has ended up with that. Now somebody was making an inside move on Longhurst. Look at him. He is disgusted. Throwing his arms around inside the car. He is beached.
That guy is driving with a spine that's just been operated on a couple of days ago, and if you see the back of his spine, it's quite incredible. Serge has done an amazing job.
Look at the marks on the front of Garth Tander's car.
I saw that, yes. I'd have to say there'd be a little inquiry after that one.
Well, a bit of a shock to the system. Stephen Ellery, the Queensland privateer, not running a lot of bucks, but very impressive here in qualifying. He's up into 4th position behind the first of the AU Falcons. That's Jason Bright. Russell Ingall in 5th. Then it's Tander and McLean, the flying privateer, locks up the inside brake coming through that very difficult twist. Oh, Radicic.
Up the inside of DJ.
You want to talk about someone else on the move too? Jason Bargwanna has come from 18th to 10th on the first lap. Our Winton winner is on the way back, and so too is John Bow. He's moving forward. He's up to 14th already. So keep an eye. This is a close battle here. The 2 Shell Helix cars. Radicic already getting one up on team owner Dick Johnson. Then you've got Murphy. Then you've got Bow, and Larkham's in there as well.
Yeah, Bargs left himself a bit of a difficult job, didn't he? 18th on the grid around this place.
It's going to be interesting to watch the progress of yellow flags waving there for Tony Longhurst off in the sand trap. I believe the safety car.
Yeah, must be. Everybody's slowed right now.
Safety car's out on the circuit because that is a very, very dangerous position. And Tony Longhurst has beached that car coming off that bridge there. Flat knacker, they brake really hard before they swing right. And any mistake, you'll end up clouding that car.
Yeah, Mark, just to explain about Tony Longhurst's back, he got up one morning and sneezed, and it herniated a disc, or it ruptured a disc, and he had to have an operation on it. It was very, very touch and go.
All right, it's early days. Plenty of action here at Oran Park. Let's check the positions for you as they stand at the moment. Scaife and Lowndes, Bright, Ellery, they've remained the same, though Bright's moved up ahead of Stephen. And Ingall, Tander, McLean and Crompton has made a good forward surge from 11th position. Seaton, Bargwanna, as we said, is the big mover. And keep your eyes on Radicic and Bow as well. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Oran Park. Safety car off the course. We are back under green, and Scaife has got a very big jump. There's the margin between he and Lowndes. Bright and Ellery. McLean has dropped back after a poor start, and the 2 Ford Tickford cars on screen, they are on a big move forward. Seaton, Crompton, Bargwanna and Radicic, they are the foursome to watch.
Yeah, it's done Jason Bright a bit of a favour, because Jason was starting to, well, he didn't stay with Scaife and Lounsey, and now it'd be interesting to see if he can. He lost that.
Oh, Bow's hit Murphy.
Oh, having to get out of there without any more damage. Look at the field threading their way around either side of the car. Murphy doing the right thing, keeping the thing rolling backwards, because if you stop in the middle of that pack, it makes you even more of a target.
That'll be interesting to have a look at the replay, whether John did in fact tag him or Murph went around by himself. We'll have to wait and see.
So Stephen Ellery continuing. It's going to be interesting to watch the progress of that Shell Grey Falcon.
Right,
look at the Shell Helix replay.
And yes, there you go. It's pretty graphic. It's definitely a yes on that one, wouldn't it?
Oh, just clear. Yep, so Holden Racing Team steamroller, as we call it. We've seen it the last 4 years at Oran Park, and has continued. This team has the setup for the Sydney track. Mark Scaife dominant in qualifying in a brand new car. Exactly what Lowndes did at Sandown when he debuted the new VT Commodore. So the Holden Racing Team very much tuned in to make a new car work straight out of the box.
Russell Ingall on the way forward to Tander, McLean behind him. His next target is Stephen Ellery, and then he'll move on to Jason Bright. These guys, well, if you exclude Ellery, the rest are championship contenders.
If you look at coming onto the main straight, it looks as if Lowndes gets a much better drive onto the main straight than Scaife does, and much better run, because as they get halfway down the straight, the thing of Craig's is making a lot of ground on top speed.
Looks like Ellery's car working very well there as he sits in behind the Pertec Ford. Ellery in the warm-up this morning went for a slightly different suspension setup. It didn't work at all. They're only about 14 or 15 fastest. So they put the car back the way it was yesterday when it was in lightning form. Third fastest behind the two Holden Racing Team Commodores. An outstanding performance from the Queenslander.
New lap record last time around to Craig Lowndes, a 1:08.06.31. So Lowndes is going very quickly at the moment. You're watching third, fourth, fifth, and further back. Jason Bright in a good position at the moment. Stephen Ellery hot on his heels. Now we seem to have lost Bargwanna from the equation. He's dropped from the timesheets and the screen. He was right there with Radicic, Crompton and Seaton. And so Bargwanna has gone. He's dropped back to 20th position. So something has happened on that last lap.
Well, it's been incredibly competitive, isn't it? The top 14 cars were under the existing lap record in qualifying yesterday. And they were covered by 1 second. Incredibly tight. 2.6 seconds covering the total grid. Privateers really lifting their game in 1999, squashing up the level of competition to get right up behind these professional teams.
Jason Bright in the Pertec Ford, and the Stone brothers were saying yesterday are having an extremely hard time as Peter Dorman in the Gatorade car spins. So they're having an extremely hard time getting this car set up the way they wanted it here. They've been doing so much testing at Queensland Raceway, and the surface there is so different to the surface here, and it was a real challenge for them. So he couldn't put two and two together there as we see Bargwanna slowing. And they said that they've been going very well up there, so they could be the ones to watch at the Queensland 500.
Yeah, home test track. But all the guys running the new AU XR8s have been in a bit of trouble here. Glenn Seaton, he was saying we can't understand it. We put the car's pretty good on old tyres, but new tyres we don't get any extra speed.
Oh, this is getting a bit. Oh, look at the squeeze in the middle of that. That's, well, Piggy in the middle, and Dorman, that really wasn't his fault, was it?
Craig Harris and Paul Wheel involved in that incident as well. And they both escaped not too bad. Wheel was able to continue on. We go back up front. Scaife, Lowndes, the Mitre 10 lap counter, 8 of 19.
If you look at Jason Bright's car, it really doesn't look as steady as Steve Ellery's car. Bright, looks like he's fighting his thing. The balance of it looks like it's really having a bit of a struggle, sort of keeping the thing on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, well, Bright's the only guy. The two Holden Racing Team cars are operating the 1 minute 8 second bracket. Bright's the only one in the 1 minute 8s with them. Stephen Ellery the first of the 109s.
But if you look at the two HRT cars, they look like they're doing it easy. What I'm trying to say is the fact that Jason really seems to be struggling.
Well, yeah, he's absolutely squeezing every bit of speed out of it. You're right, Baz.
Crompton up ahead of team boss Glenn Seaton now. This is the view from the back of Seaton's AU XR8, looking at Paul Radicic, who has done a good job to come from 14th up into 10th position and is on the way forward. The earlier practice sessions and qualifying didn't look too good for the Shell cars, but now Radicic and Dick Johnson running together, and you'll see Stephen Ellery slot into the car on screen. Well, not now, not into this one. The Radicic car. That always happens, doesn't it? The telemetry, this is on board with Seaton.
Yeah, Paul Radicic said after qualifying yesterday, he said it's the usual trick. We come up with the ideal race package after qualifying, so we're spending the day always coming through from the rear, but he was third fastest in the warm-up this morning. And expect the Shell 18 Ford to continue to climb the ladder as the day progresses. On board with Seaton. Look at the road speed there, 180 kilometres an hour as they crest that blind rise. It's a daunting part of this racetrack over the dogleg.
And it really is a lot steeper down than it looks on the television.
Glenn Seaton's concentrating there as Paul Radicic moves right up into the mirrors. They just aren't getting the new tyre gain out of this car that they've had previously. They put a new set of tyres on. Normally you go a lot faster. It just hasn't been happening for the FTR Fords this weekend.
Let's not forget, this is their first time here, and they don't have any previous data, so it's a big ask to get the cars right up there straight away, but they're doing well. Not quite as well as the Mobil 1 Holden Racing Team, though. 1 and 2, Scaife and Lowndes still leading the way. This is the battle at the moment between Seaton and Radicic, which is 9th and 10th as we go back up front.
Yeah, you'd have to say with that battle of Seaton and Radicic, Radicic looks quicker than Seaton at the moment, and we'll soon see if he when he gets past, but he does look a lot quicker.
Well, Jason Bright matching the times of the Holden Racing Team Commodores. The gap 1.3 seconds at the moment, remaining fairly static. Let's see if the fourth can close in a little bit. We're on board with our race leader, Mark Scape, the brand new VT Commodore, built by the boys in Melbourne. And Craig Lowndes reverting to the older VT this weekend. Very happy to be aboard the latest model.
The story from the pits with Barguana's car, a fuel problem, and the car was cutting out every time he took a right-hand turn. So some problems there for the Gary Rogers team.
Yeah, I was going to say virtually every turn.
Tander is menacing Russell Ingall. He was disappointed that he didn't stand on the podium at Winton. A special day too for Garth. His father, Dirk Tander from WA, is here on Father's Day, so that's appropriate. Talking with him, and he's very, very proud of his 22-year-old son.
Russell Ingall third in the points, Tander sixth. These top 6 guys covered by just 170 points, so every point critical here. As the enforcer defends, Dick Johnson talking about defending. Here comes his former teammate, John Bow, up the inside in the Caterpillar Falcon. So Bow had an absolutely terrible practice. He was all at sea yesterday. Another one of these teams running the new AU XR8. No previous data, no previous experience on Bridgestone tyres around here too. So JB was really in a quandary which way to go with setup. But
there's something just came off of JB's car then.
Oh, a bit of a tap.
Gives him one for good measure.
Come on, you might have left the team. We'll get a move on. So John looks up in the rearview mirror. Okay. So he's opening a little bit of a gap now on the Shell 17 car, but Bow back there in 11th position. He said he's going to have to fight for every point he can get today.
Let's not forget, guys, about Cameron McLean and his superb effort in 7th position at the moment. Top privateer and battling it with the big boys.
Well, we're keeping an eye on this gap between Jason Bright, now leading Mobile Holden Racing Team Commodores. He's chomping away at it. 1.2 seconds the gap. It was out to 1.8. So the Pertec Ford, Stone Brothers, looks like they've done the trick with the setup. Oh, Murphy.
So a tough race for Greg Murphy. First of all, got turned around by John Bow and now is out of the race. He joins teammate Stephen Richards, who we saw pull off on the opening lap. Not quite sure what the problem was there.
Oh, look at Bright. 1.2 seconds. He has closed it. Shut it down by about half a second.
Ingall's coming under increasing pressure by Tander, and not only Tander, but Cameron McLean is right there, and Crompton's done a good job too. So there's 4 cars there in a tight bunch, a slight margin back to Seaton, who is still doing well to defend from Radicic. Then it's Bow, Johnson, Faulkner, Larkin, Perkins back in 15th position. Rodney Forbes right on him.